Welcome, agents, to Strain 97-SNA of the 0 Point Report, #1 broadcast all about the news surrounding the Secret World IP. Today is Thursday, November 1st, 2024. I almost forgot what today was. And with me tonight, we have Two-Ton Waffle. We have Jimmy the Rabbit.
I'm no longer associated with this production.
This is where we already go off the rails.
Rails? What are those?
And I'm Ocho, and tonight we have special guest with us, Brandon Verhalen from Star Anvil Studios.
Hello.
How are you, sir?
I'm always fantastic.
Always fantastic.
It's much better than saying you're miserable. Nobody cares.
It's true. It's true. I mean, people care, I think. Just...
Do they really?
Kind of.
Some do. Depends.
Like if someone, what is it? I think they told us once in a sociology class I was taking, and they're like, if you go up to somebody and you say, like, oh, how are you? And they say anything but, like, oh, I'm okay. Or I'm doing okay. I'm doing fine. I'm doing whatever. And it says something more along the lines of, like, I'm not, oh, it's been the absolute worst. It's sort of like, that's when you're like, okay, like, like it's you expect the normal thing of just saying,
right.
Like, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm okay.
Nobody's really asking how you're doing. It's just a greeting. It's rare that they actually want to know in day to day.
Correct.
Unless
yeah, it's more like a ritual.
Mm-hmm. They expect you to say everything's perfect and fantastic. Bury your real feelings deep down inside.
We do still hope that you're doing okay.
Yeah,
but
they're literally just going like nuts, and if you don't just do the thing, then you're just going like this. Like you're like, this is not working. You just want to be like, yeah, we're good.
Yeah,
moving on.
Awesome. Next.
But we do hope you're doing okay. Welcome to the 0 Point Report. 0 Point Report, where we talk all about the news surrounding the Secret World IP. Hope you're all doing well. I already see we have Vomer and Masick. Masick, I haven't seen you in a long time, Masick. Dan Van Dam coming in here. Hope everyone's doing okay. But yes, first and foremost on the list tonight is we have Brandon Verhalen. Tell us why you've come on the show.
Well, because you asked me to, and I'm a generous man with my time. Also,
yes.
Well, that and I asked if you'd invite me on the show, so you go back.
So true. Yeah.
So we're working on our next book for the Secret World RPG. Next one come up is going to be focusing on North America and the Illuminati. So
North America,
just trying to get the word out. Yeah.
So yes, and you already set up the Kickstarter page for it.
Yeah, we got that set up to just start getting people to follow. So what the big thing is, the hardest thing with Kickstarters anytime is getting the word out to get people to know about it. So you want to start as early as you can, because I got 50 emails after it ended. I didn't know there was a Kickstarter. I'm like, really? Where were you? I thought, but it's so easy to miss. Or people go, I didn't even know there was going to be a Kickstarter. I mean, you never know what channels people are observing or watching or how they get their news. So
exactly, yeah. So you try to hit them from any channel they can. So we're going to put it out there. Yeah, Kickstarter.com, Star Anvil Studios, Secret World North America, launching soon. But you could save it. You could save it, and then to get notified on launch, when it launches, you get a nice email telling you all about it.
Yep. If you have Kickstarter, if you just put a little, heart it, whatever, favorite it, it will alert you the day it launches if you've forgotten and say, hey, don't miss this. So that, of course. Yeah, so we're going to focus on, what we're going to do, at least, provided nothing bad happens to me, a meteorite doesn't fall on me or whatnot. Strange assassins come out of the woodwork. We're going to do North America, Illuminati, Europe, Templar, Dragon, Africa. Just kidding, Dragon, Asia, so no one gets...
Yeah, Dragon Age.
Yeah, and then I'm also looking at longer term, like maybe Orochi, Africa, something which I won't name, South America.
But so this is just the start, basically.
Yes, hopefully so. So far, so good. I mean, we did the 5e version and the Savage Worlds version, and both did really well. Total book sales are, yes, I don't know the real secrets. That's Josh's job. He's going to write. The book sales for both total sales so far between the two are almost equal between 5e and Savage Worlds, which is pretty amazing. I'm a little shocked by that in some ways, and then again, some other ways I'm not. So,
so you write on.
Someone asked Louisiana. Yeah, so we have some cities we've planned to visit, expand a little bit on. They might get between 3 and 5 pages in the book with, interesting lore, history, and stuff. And actually, I believe, let me just double check my working list right now. New Orleans is on the list.
Okay. I was going to say, Dan.
What'd you say?
I heard rumblings of Atmat.
Yeah, that's on there too. We'll see.
They say you write on the Kickstarter page. You say, "An age is ending, and the darkest days are already here. As magic begins to fail, ancient enemies cast their avaricious gaze upon our world. Threats, both mortal and cosmic, once thought merely myth, but horrifically all too real, begin to reveal themselves as a clock counts down towards apocalypse. In the midst of these growing shadows, some hope yet remains, and you are that hope. Can you discover the truth behind the secret world?" The Secret World North America focuses the story on the Illuminati and the North America region. New player options, new cryptids. Oh, always good new cryptids. 7 new locations, 3 new interconnected adventures. The Secret World North America will be available for both 5 and Savage Worlds.
Yep.
Nice.
Well, now you've done it all. Now I can leave. Bye.
Okay, all right. Take it.
That's it. Good night.
Thanks, guys. It's probably going to be more than 7 cities, but that's what we're going to promise,
Okay.
And I have for example, I was talking to Daryl. Daryl did a lot of writing for the first time around, and he, Josh oversaw it. My wife did some writing in there, but Daryl was the one who he read everything, and he had the bulk of the writing assignment. And so he's kind of become my core writer, writing a lot of stuff with Josh still write. Josh is probably going to write the Illuminati section. My wife is really good at researching the cryptids. She's already got a document about like 50 or 60 monsters where she's got, locations and details for me. And then Daryl's going to do like the cities and the adventures themselves because it's in some ways easier to write that than the specifics of, say, the Illuminati, where you have to be really correct. You can't just make it up, because the city, we can add details and so on. But I was talking to him, I said, we've got all these interesting cities, but, the first book we kind of skipped over it a little bit because we said, well, everybody knows about New York, but we're actually going to probably do some more New York in this as well.
Right. It's not like New York is a tiny place. There's a lot going on in New York.
Yeah, it's not like it's important to the game at all.
So can you tease maybe some of the other locations you guys are already looking at?
I'll tell you the cities that we have on the list right now, and this could change. So there's no guarantees these will be the final cities when we get there. We may decide, well, that doesn't work well for us. New Orleans, Tampa, Mount Shasta, Atlanta, Seattle, Springton, Ohio, which is going to be a made-up town, which we could do whatever we want with.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
Vancouver, maybe Montreal, and Mexico City.
Okay.
And possibly at least one other city in Mexico. Obviously we're mostly in America, probably because of some level of familiarity for us, but we got a couple up in, Canada, a couple down in Mexico, and that's as far as we're, there's only so much room in the book, so there's going to be cities people want. It's not going to happen. We could do, someone asked me, what about Dallas? I think that would be cool. Sure. What about New Mexico City or, whatever, people are going to have all sorts of cool possibilities, but we have to start off with some limits. But future adventures might take place in a city, then you might get like a page primer on that city. Like when we do our 3-part adventure, I might say, hey, let's expand on a city that's not in the book in these adventures so that we can add it there and give a page there. It might not be as full as what the book gives on a city, but we can keep adding more bits as we do adventures and stuff too.
Like I heard that Joshua had done he made one of the Kickstarter, what do they call those, the extra stuff added onto the Kickstarter.
Stretch goals.
Stretch goal. It was they paid for a tier to get the reward to play the game, if that's what you're talking about.
Yes, yeah, that and that they played a session with with Scrivedomancer, with
Yep.
Joshua Deitch himself. And I think they said it took place in Chicago. Where he made the session last.
And I have talked to him about writing that up into an adventure and expanding it to something we can release later.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it will probably happen, but when more than anything. But since he's already got the notes for it and stuff, and he knows it pretty well, there's no reason not to expand that. So that's definitely a possibility that could come out. And we've also got 12, what Savage Worlds calls one sheets, but we did them for 5e and Savage Worlds that we're working on. It's going to be, there are 12 adventures all over the globe. And again, they're one sheet, so it's literally D&D might be 3 because just the stats are bigger, but really the front and back of a page. So you're not going to get a whole lot, but they give you a hint of this city or that town or this location of the world, and the adventure takes place there. So those things will come out once we get to a certain point and start releasing them regularly, but you'd be surprising how expensive it is to produce even a two-sided piece of paper into a product you can use. So
how much? If you don't mind my asking.
It depends on writing, layout costs and stuff. I mean, you could easily drop, $75 to $100 for one page, if not $150. And so, right now, the money from the Kickstarter, everything is kind of ebbed away and been put into projects and keeping things going. So now with the next Kickstarter is when I will take money from that and do the next line of stuff, or whatever. So that's part of the reason to always do a Kickstarter. And we're building an audience to get some regular sales, but not at a level that we can just say, hey, I got, $1,200 to blow right now in these adventures, because adventures don't sell a lot, unfortunately.
Okay.
I mean,
I think that was actually true of the original game as well.
Yeah, that was. I was gonna say we understand that because
side stories.
Yeah,
Tokyo had side stories, and apparently labeling something side stories does not bode well for sales.
No, people want to buy the core book, and so the least amount of sold item is probably anything for the GM. You're already making. Some players want everything. The people who are fans will just buy it all anyway. But generally speaking, you got the GM. Well, there's maybe one GM for every 8 players. If you make a resource that's only for the GM, you're selling to 1/8 of your population.
Of your base.
Yeah.
And a lot of GMs like, well, I can make up my own stuff. I don't need to buy your stuff. There's that too. So you even less of that. So, but if you make a book like the core book that's going to represent the setting that the GM can dig into, and for example, we're going to include some new player options, since it's good for useful to everyone, then it will probably sell. But you still got to do some adventures because there are people who want them. So you kind of build that into the project cost.
Oh yeah. I was pointing out that it is I don't know. I've never understood with Secret World the game, right? And even with the role playing stuff, right? If you liked the content and the lore and you got the first one and you liked the writing, why in God's name would you not get any additional material? Because the reason everyone genuinely likes this and likes the game isn't the video game is this amazing. I mean, it's fun, but it's not like it does things other video games don't. It's the writing. The story historically keeps people coming back to it. And yet, they just labeled something side stories, and people are like, no, I'm not going to buy that.
Yeah, that's what you're saying is the original problem with the Secret World.
You like the story. That's why you're playing it. Why wouldn't you buy more of the story?
It's a conundrum we cannot overcome.
Yeah.
You just have to label things differently, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that is
naming issues.
Yeah, it could be. Sometimes it's
legitimately, I remember there was a dev stream or something. I don't remember if it was Tilty or if it was Joel, but I remember them talking about the fact that they realized in retrospect they really messed up by releasing instead of an issue. Because normally the DLC stuff for TSW, the original game, was issues, right? The comic book covers, I love that stuff. But they released mission packs for Tokyo called Side Stories, and those did awfully. But they should have just made it an issue and said,
they should have used the same naming conventions. They shouldn't have gone off the.
Yeah,
they should have tried to say this is a less than.
It's a value proposition. If you make it sound like you said less than, even though it could be just as good, if the people perceive the value to be less, they're not going to buy it. They feel like,
They literally said it's side stories. Like, oh, well, side story doesn't matter. That's not part of the main story, so I don't need it. It's like, that's insane.
Yeah, nobody goes out with the side quest. Like, it's always a main storyline that they go for.
They did kind of learn that lesson, I think.
Yeah, a little.
Because if you recall, I think one of the last issues with like a comic cover that got released for TSW was essentially a side story pack. Like, it was not like their prior issues were more like an actual concerted effort, like around a theme. Like, this is the thing we're releasing, and this has like a, it's all tied together in a bow. And then they released sort of like an issue that was like a grab bag. There was like, here's the stuff we have left to release for TSW before it shuts down, essentially. Like, and they released it as an issue, and I think that actually did do better. Yeah, Bomber, exactly. They bundled side stories into issue 15. Issue 15 had a whole bunch of shit, but it was just better to like call it an issue and do it that way than try and sling a bunch of individual shit out for $5 or whatever.
So you're saying you have issues. Got
it. Always.
I'm saying I want more issues.
More issues. I wish I
need to collect more issues.
So another thing, because of that, that thing of making it valuable, we're also going to do some new classes for 5e, what you call them, and for Savage Worlds, it'll be like edges or backgrounds.
Okay.
And one of the focuses is like we've had people say, well, what about non-B characters? Because obviously in the video game that's the focus, but that's not as I talked to Josh, I think we had a call, said obviously Bs aren't the only protagonists that exist, but that's what the video game is dealing with.
Right.
Because they don't want to design 20 different types of things. They already have, these different ways of making it work. So we're exploring some like a purely normal human Illuminati operative, for example.
Okay. So that idea of like, okay, so I may be around to use the idea of like Star Wars or something, in that idea of, yeah, there's Jedi over there, but I want to be the smuggler. I want to be the...
Yep. And
like, you may have the superpowers over here, but I just want to be the normal guy who is also powered, who is also skilled. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be Boba Fett. Give me some cool gear, maybe.
Yeah.
I think wouldn't the Secret World version of that be like the Phoenicians or something?
Well, I mean,
like
obviously there are people who work for the Illuminati who aren't bees. That's very much a fact that we know that they recruit bees because they're useful, but their bulk of their operation isn't bees.
Yeah, I was just thinking outside of like the main three factions, right? Like you have Venice, I think, is primarily non-bee, the Council.
And they use
you're not going to administration side. We were talking before the stream. If you go into Venice, Mikey, like you saw like the Mason representative. If you go into Venice in the game, there's like regular people with like different tags on them hanging out in Venice as like representatives of different parts of the Secret World sort of faction bases, and including, I think there's some that say they're journalists or something, if I'm not mistaken.
That could be something, and then it could be interesting to do as, for example, stretch goals. Now I'm writing this idea down. This way, these conversations are good. The only
I'm gonna go look now. I'm almost positive when you walk into Venice.
Waffle, let's go. Field trip.
I'm almost positive when you walk into Venice, there's like someone with like a journalist badge or something hanging out there.
But it'll be interesting to see like stretch goal, like if we're doing crazy, like, hey, why don't we add this other class? I mean, we don't want to do too many of those because there's a lot of work in making a class for 5e. It's very easy to build something for Savage Worlds. Savage Worlds, it's one or two edges and you're good to go. I mean, you've made it. With 5e, it's about balancing and building a lot of different abilities. And some things just don't translate. Druids are definitely on a list, but I don't know if we're doing them with North. I don't think we're going to do those with North America. But maybe a witch, a Bostonian witch, maybe,
okay, like what you call Salem style,
something like that, possibly, and then maybe some kind of shaman, North American shaman type thing. Well, again, it's all about really looking at it and seeing what makes best sense. A lot of it's like we have a pretty good idea that might be cool. Now let's sit down and see how we really want to make this work. We might say as I like to say, it's crap, do it again. So we may take the idea and toss it when we finally get down to it. But so yeah, there's things like that for the player bases to give us something more fun for them too, not just for the GM to handle. So locations, adventures, player options, and then there's even a sort of a mini adventure we're talking about where it's each location might have 3, and I say an adventure, it's going to probably be like 2 or 3 paragraphs describing something that could happen in this location, so that the GM can say, oh, if I go to New Orleans, here's 3 ideas that could happen there, and same with Tampa and whatever. But the book is going to give the GM a ton to do, plus we're going to have the 3 adventures, plus this over the next year we should be releasing those 12 one-sheets. And so then we could also, sorry, my daughter was asking something. I lost my train of thought. The 12 one sheets and the 3 adventures. Oh, and we're gonna get Contagion converted to 5e probably with the Kickstarter as well, because that was done for the Savage Worlds one. And so I'll just wrap up doing that as part of that, so that the 5e players can have that. And going forward, everything will be done at the same time. So there won't be so
it'll be concurrent instead of having 2 separate Kickstarters.
Right, and you won't have to wait to see, they got Contagion, but we didn't. That's what we're just going to do at the same time. We're also, I'll just put this out there so people know, I want to rework some stuff with the 5e book. I think we could do better. That was our first Kickstarter.
Of course.
There's ways we can improve it. So we'll probably put it in the format to match the Savage Worlds size book, because the reason that sounds weird, like why would you do that? We either have to match the 5e size or the Savage Worlds size, because every time we do layout, if we do it for 2 different size books, we're doing 2 different complete layouts. What the lore is all the same. Why am I redoing lore for a bigger page, for a smaller page? Well, we could just copy paste the lore over if there's no stats in it. That's going to make it more efficient for us to deliver the book to you guys sooner, for example, when we do stuff.
Makes sense to me. Yeah.
So every book reduces my cost, which I like, because the more money we save, the more stuff I can make. So just different things I'm learning as I go on how we can streamline our process and improve so that we can deliver faster and more stuff.
Excellent. What does Robert say? Obviously, Tampa requires something to do with a Florida Man report. Yes.
I mean, that really should be part of it, yeah.
Florida Man cryptid.
Florida Man is cryptid. You realize every news report is actually the same man.
It's actually the same man, right? Yeah.
The shapeshifter.
Yeah, shapeshifter and doppelganger. He just keeps cloning himself and coming back for more problems. They actually just use the Florida Man report to cover up this cryptid that keeps doing things. Actually, that's a good idea. Let me write that down.
Oh man, there's that comedian that did a whole bit. I love it so much. It's like a really long segment too. It's like 20 minutes or something. But it's on a guy in Florida that attempted to rob a Wendy's through the drive-thru with an alligator.
I mean, there's so many things wrong with that story from the get-go, and then you throw an alligator in there.
Yeah, so he was like, "Give me your money," and they're like, "No." And he's like, "I've got this alligator." They're like, "And?" And then he palmed the alligator and threw it through there. But then he didn't have the alligator anymore, so they still wouldn't give him the money.
Like, are you just giving us an alligator?
And then, again, there's this comedian, Shane something. He does an amazing set, like on this story, like describing it from the point of view of the people in line behind the guy in the drive-thru.
Imagine, watching that.
But the greatest part about the end is the fact that like they caught the guy pretty quickly, and the and in the newspaper article it was like, no drugs involved.
Yeah, you sure about that?
Sure.
No discernible drugs involved.
Without drugs involved is attempting to rob a Wendy's drive-thru with an alligator. Jesus Christ. What happens when you're on drugs?
See, in here, I just thought we referred to Waffle as Florida Man.
I mean, I used to live in Florida. Florida Man makes RPG and calls it the secret world.
That's right.
So, yeah,
that's awesome. Okay.
That's a bit, then we got our list of cryptids.
Charged with attempted Florida Manning. I like that.
Jersey Devil, Shasta
Nice.
Dark Watchers.
That's one I'm very familiar with.
Jersey Devil.
It's my neck of the woods.
We'll see what again, those all sound good right now and we'll probably be in there, but things can change. I mean, I had we had originally, and I was unaware of this, and I don't know how much it applies or not, but we had, I'd read stuff about cryptids and, evil lizard people trying to take over the world and all that stuff. Well, that sounds interesting. And we got several messages from people saying, well, that's a thing about Jewish people. And I was like, I've never heard that before. So we dumped it because we didn't want to go down the path of some, being supposedly it was some kind of ethnic slur thing to say that. And I was completely unaware of that. So I'd never heard that before. So I said, well, since that's being said, let's not do that. So sometimes we might have an idea that, I haven't heard something and someone will mention something and say, well, let's change what we're doing.
Yeah, sometimes, especially when you're dealing with history, that it can get tricky at times.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's more of a mixing of conspiracy theories that have come before. It was just some weird conspiracy theory. And from what I understood, a more recent person started equating that to something, and it's merged that into a problem now, which it might, and me being older, probably when I heard about it, I just heard weird lizard people. I mean, I remember there was the old TV show, Land of the Lost, and the bad guys were weird alien lizards. The Sleestaffs.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, that thing, but they take on human form. I don't think anything bad. And
it's also looking at like Mark Zuckerberg, like he's a lizard person.
Yeah, I mean,
in a human suit.
Wasn't there a show was it V Rising or something?
Well, that's the redo. V was originally the Visitors was. Yeah, they were essentially lizards, aliens, bad guys. So yeah, I mean that's been a constant thing and stuff for a long time that I'd heard back from what I can remember.
No, but I get what you're saying. Like at some point, like if
it touches a little too close to current events, I guess.
Right.
Or
okay, I have a good example of this. So I like to sometimes watch reactions. Like I like to watch people enjoy shows that I like, right? So I do watch reaction videos or something on YouTube when I'm bored, and started watching people watching Archer. So I really like Archer. So you get to experience it for the first time again through someone else's viewpoint. But the show, the agency was called ISIS for the first I don't know how many seasons, because ISIS wasn't a thing when that show was made.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you see people nowadays reacting to episode 1, and they're like, "What the shit is this? Why is this called ISIS?" You can't do that. And they did have to change the agency's the show had to change the agency's name, even though it'd been on for years, because you have to react to the world around you. And
language has meaning. Language is important.
I knew a person whose name was Isis.
That's unfortunate.
Because Isis is what? It's an Egyptian goddess?
Yeah, Egyptian goddess. Listen, my name is Brandon, and my kids say, let's go, Brandon. We'll leave it at that. We're not going to take it further. I'm just saying, I've seen all these flags. I saw these flags around one time, and I hadn't heard the story. I was like, wow, why do people like my name so much?
Yeah.
You just felt this overwhelming swell of support,
Yeah, I feel so important.
All these guys riding around lifted trucks with the flags.
Yeah.
They like me. They really, really like me. So anyway, so as we go through stuff, we look at stuff and go, hey, when you're dealing with mythologies, there's what it used to mean, what it means now, how people are perceiving it now at the time of writing. So even if something I write now that might seem great, and we put in a book, 10 years from now, we go, gosh, I wouldn't have written that if I'd known the future.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
I mean, look, when I first started working on this, I would rotate the different symbols for the factions as my symbol in my on Facebook, for my name, whatever. I don't usually put my mug on there. Nobody really wants to see it that much. So I put up the dragon, and I put up the Illuminati, which no one reacted to, but I put up the temporal one, and I got the whole "you're a Nazi."
Oh my gosh!
Because there's been a large adoption of that symbolism in that group now to the Vikings and crosses and Viking mythology and cross mythology.
Okay.
Templars is being adopted. And so there's a lot of negative people who will grab a symbol that they is quote unquote powerful or whatever, and they adopt it, and now, we can't take it out of the game here. Literally as part of the story. And I mean, so we have to say, look, that's not what that means. We're basing it on this. We're going to have to ignore that. But there are things we can just say, hey, we don't need that, and we can bypass it. So, yeah, they had to switch their messenger logo because people were probably saying garbage. And so I had a bad reaction from someone one time. I was like, well, I took it down. Now I put it up again because I realized it was just a few people were overreacting. But some people will make a big deal out of something and not bother to ask you what you mean by it. So you got to adapt.
Yeah. That happens, yeah.
Which makes writing for RPGs, especially an RPG that deals with secret societies and conspiracy theories, really tricky.
I actually thought that was one of my ideas as far as because here in Secret World, the game itself, Secret World Legends, that the last piece of content we received was in South Africa, and it was when did they release that? A while ago. Yeah, I'll just say a while ago.
Was it 2018? South Africa?
Dawn of the Morning Light was 2018. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been, it has. It's been a while. And I always thought that that's why, and they were like, oh, we're going to go to the Congo next. The Congo in real life is not exactly, going through a good time right now, to say the least. And so I really think that part of the reason why we haven't seen anything so far is because the areas of the world that they want to go to, the areas of this world, are sort of tricky, for the same reason. It's like they don't want to, have something come out and then all of a sudden, gosh, how dare you?
It's like releasing a world-ending movie about hurricanes right after a hurricane hit part of America and killed 100 people. That movie will not be launched right then because it's too close to that time.
My wife said this the other day, and we're big into musicals. We do like our Broadway musicals, and there's a Broadway musical called Assassins, and it's a big Stephen Sondheim musical, and Stephen Sondheim is one of the biggest in the business. And they were going to make a theatrical movie release of Assassins, and then 9/11 happened, and they were like, nope, we're not doing it.
Yep.
And they altered Lilo and Stitch. Lilo and Stitch, there was a big scene in that. They had to alter it.
It was the
post 9/11 as well. Yeah,
the plane, instead of going through the city of Honolulu, is going through random valleys, mountains, and stuff like that instead.
Right, instead of going through a major downtown area. Yeah.
I mean, isn't the biggest one from 9/11? Wouldn't that be like the Spider-Man movie at the time?
Yeah,
because the original trailers had the towers in it,
right? And they
with
did
the
digital
spider webs between them, and then that all had to be redone. They're like, nope.
Yeah, you'll see any number of cultural or natural events can occur, and then you have to look at what you're writing at that time and go, is now the time to do this? And go, probably not. Or this was I started writing my sci-fi setting Starbreaker 20-something years ago, and I was mostly educated high school in Florida, and I thought, what'd be really interesting is to name the planets the Confederate Systems Alliance. And eventually become the United Systems Alliance. Just a little play on CSA USA. Mm-hmm. And for obvious reasons, as I got older and read history, I said, let's not do that.
You're like, maybe I shouldn't joke around about that. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't a joke. In Florida, they said it's only about states' rights.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the right was to do things that are not nice. So my point is, as you read and learn stuff, you go, oh, I drilled down further and that's not something I want to deal with. So I changed how I wrote that a long time ago. I mean, that never came out like that, obviously. Mm-hmm. The whole story changed. And then you write something, but had I written it then, it wasn't a big deal then. Nobody would have batted an eye back then.
Mm-hmm.
Would have been perfectly. StarCraft had the Confederate flag and the first one was in the first game, they had a Confederate flag. And nobody remembers that because they don't share that anymore.
No,
that got changed.
That's why, and then you'll people claiming, censorship or blah 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 blah. Yeah.
Oh,
So that's why, yeah, doing anything that uses real history, doing anything that uses real places, which Secret World is part. I mean, it's part of the whole brand. Is that it's real places. It's real myth. It's real legends. It's real.
I like that real myths. Damn it.
Real myths, yeah.
Real fake stories. I mean,
real fake stuff, yeah.
I mean, yeah. It just takes you look at it and go, does that seem good today? So yeah, it's been a lot going through it, and I mean, it's going to take a lot more work. One of the reasons why the Dragon and Asia are going to be the third book we do and not the first is because that's going to take some. I'm going to have to find some people who could say, hey, this cool idea you have, yeah, that's not really a cool idea. It looks cool to you from all your pop culture, but people may not like that idea.
Yeah. You need like a focus group, right, to turn around and say, hey,
at least avoid some of the worst tropes that are, because, and the other thing is, sometimes things we think are bad, some from the culture say, no, it's not bad, you just think it is. But I still have to explore that. It's a little easier.
But you don't want to pull a Ubisoft, is what you're saying.
Yeah, try not to. I mean, try not to. And so there's gonna be something where we're still gonna have someone's gonna say, well, I don't like X, and I'm like, well, we didn't know you didn't like X. But no harm is intended. We'll do our best. So I think it'll be pretty good with most. That's another reason why starting with America is easier. We can just touch on other subjects and kind of go with a broad brush and try and stay away from the trickier subjects. So people say, we didn't go very deep on this particular thing. I said, well, because we don't have the tools to go deep enough into that one and feel safe or good about it. So you can fill it in the way you want, and we're just going to go over broadly, and you can go in deeper on it if you want to. So, I mean, every mythology was someone's religion.
Right. And hey, I mean, that's part of what tabletop is that if you have that, if you are, what am I trying to say?
More well-versed.
I mean, it's tabletop. You can run your table and you can run your own stories. And if you have a specific thing that you know a lot about and you're comfortable with running, then by all means, use that story, use that setting.
And you can go as deep and dark as you want into it, your own table, if your people are happy with it. I mean, there are storylines that a mature group can handle and could be really awesome stories, but that's not for everyone. Like when I run to the convention, I'm like, okay, we're going to go surface level here. We're not going very dark. We're going to focus more on the action. We're not going to, trust. I mean, I ran Contagion at the convention, which was pretty dark because you're after a young woman who's infected and you have to stop her by any means necessary before you call it. But I mean, there's levels you like. One guy said, well, how old is she? I said, well, she's not a child. She's an adult. Because you make her like 14, people get weirded out, which I personally do. Law-abiding citizen, off camera, they let you know that they're killing his daughter. I almost walked out of the theater. I couldn't take it. I got kids. I don't want to see that. And they didn't even show anything. Obviously, they're not going to. I was like, no, I don't want that. I don't want to watch a movie about this.
Yeah.
And so there's things that everyone has their limits. And I've played a D&D game, for example, where for 2 years, the mage was absolutely an evil mage doing terrible things. And I was playing a paladin who was supposed to be the good guy. Oh, I played my character, so what I knew as a player was different from what my character knew. I knew as a player he was doing terrible things. My character, they always were careful to hide stuff from me. And that was a really cool and intense story because by the end, he took over some demon's abilities and, terrible things happened. But that was fun because I was mature enough and the rest of the group was to let the story play out and not be offended as a person. But there are other people who conflate the two too much together and it can be very negative. So you just have to know your group.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of like separating the actor from the character.
Yeah, there's people who meet their favorite star on the street and they think they're going to be just like they are on the show. And I mean, why Mark Hamill's really cool, for example, from Star Wars, he's not Luke Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's not going to be the wise old Jedi. He's kind of a goofy guy when you see him in interviews, which is cool. He's very friendly. I mean, but he's not that character. And, if that's what your expectation is, it's a problem. So hopefully you're playing with people. Role-playing is very...
Wait, what?
I mean, I played that same D&D game with the same group for 2.5 years back when I was 18 and on up. So I was 20. And we would play every Saturday and Sunday, sometimes 12 hours at a pop. So you get, you literally live this whole life with these characters as they go through all these events together. You feel like you explored this castle together as GM, and so your characters really truly take on a lot of personality. So it can be, if you can't separate yourself, it can get really intense. People can get very angry. I mean, I played a game with a player one time who was playing his character as this very negative person, and he just told me to shut the F up one time in a game, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Was that character or was that you? Slow down. Were you telling me to, or are you telling my character? Wait, where are we at? So, but we talked about it. Said, hey, look, this seems a little personal.
You need to do some like OOC brackets.
Yeah, exactly. Was that out of character? You really hate me. It's a really cool hobby. It lets you explore worlds and build things together and have all these memories together of all these things you did. Same as when you do the video game, except for you can tell more in-depth stories that your characters have more control over. Generally speaking.
Very nice. Very nice. I'm also chuckling over here because Waffle, they changed what you look like.
Really?
And me as well. Even though I'm still tiny. Keep me tiny, please.
Oh, you're what's her face from this is it? Oh my god! Sorry, hold on. Leaf spawned on me. Crap! You're what's her face from? Is it Shadowy Forest? Shadowy Forest. She's across the lake with the wagon.
Cricket SWL had it. Anastasia.
Yeah.
So other than that, does anyone have any questions? Because I kind of covered broadly,
You did a good job. So you mentioned loosely that there was maybe some more classes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of you said new player options are coming.
Right.
Can you share what one of these like new classes would be, or what some of these in Savage Worlds
So arcane background in Savage Worlds for the powered ones, or it's just to put another group edges get put together.
Edges, that's what it was. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I mentioned that we're looking at the Bostonian Witch or the Illuminati operative. Things like that are definitely being considered, likely to be made. But again, we could go back and say this just doesn't work. So, I mean, everything I'm sharing is like one thing I do want to do is, for example, now that 5e's really kind of come out with, and again, this is just me looking at things I'd like to do.
Mm-hmm.
5e's done a thing where the weapons have special abilities and effects. And I'd really like to play that up and take what we did with Savage Worlds version, where the weapons kind of define some of your powers and abilities, or more so in Savage Worlds, less so, not at all in D&D. Similar to when you change those out in the video game, I'd kind of like to have that weapon maybe grant you a cantrip or something, or that are very, very focused on the way, like you get the pistol, you get to do X. And I'd also like to do maybe like where we have the 9 different, chaos magic, chaos elemental, and blood magic. And then you have your pistol or your shotgun and your rifle, etc. Anyway, it would be interesting if we could add 3 more items that I don't know what a new magic would be, or
like a magic that's not even in the game situation. Okay.
And then possibly do something like that with we got, you've got knuckles, you've got a sword, you've got whatever. What if we said, well, ancient weapons exist, what about if we had a bow? I mean, somebody wants to use a bow and have a magic focus with that. Would that be something that had existed before but in modern times isn't really used, but someone's brought it back? I mean, because bees have been around for a while.
And technically, I guess the whole point of the focus is not necessarily that it's simply really a focus for your power.
Right. So it could be anything. It's just then you have to theme it to work in a way that makes sense to a degree for that item. Like, what if someone got a quarterstaff? Would that be a cool new melee type thing to have? Would that be interesting in the game? Would it not be?
It's a kind of good question here. Just plan to able to grab the base book with the new Kickstarter?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I got the 5e, but didn't get the Savage Worlds.
Well, we will. You don't need to have Savage Worlds, or you can have Savage Worlds or 5e, whichever you want. And either one, you have to like with 5e we put all the rules in the book. With Savage Worlds you have to buy the core rule book as far as how the rules work from Pinnacle, Savage Worlds Suede. But if you say, hey, I want Savage Worlds right now, for example, with my current Kickstarter, we're doing the late backer for that sci-fi one. You can click and buy, or you can buy it on DriveThruRPG, the books and stuff if you want. You don't have to wait. But for example, so if you say, hey, I want that, you can go buy it, sure. But we will make a package that says, catch up. You didn't get this, you can get all of it now plus the new stuff.
Okay.
Of course,
okay,
because why wouldn't we let you spend more money?
Yeah, right.
Why would we stop you?
No,
we're trying to throw money at you and you're not letting us. Yeah.
Shut up and take my money.
So, yeah.
But yeah, it reminds me of, you may not know this, you may know this, I don't know. In the original Secret World, they sort of had something relative to that, what they called auxiliary weapons, which we don't have in Secret World Legends.
Well,
they were...
Sort of, we do.
Sort of. There's like part-time. There was, a whip? There was flamethrower, rocket launcher,
chainsaw,
chainsaw,
bracer.
And the bracer. Yeah. So it was like a magic bracer. Tabletop role playing. I don't think maybe the rocket launcher and or this is my standard weapon, my rocket launcher.
You could absolutely do the rocket launcher because we made an ability where you can hide your item in a pocket dimension.
Okay.
And since that explains why players in the video games walk around with giant swords and hammers that no one ever sees until they pull it out. So yeah, we did. There is one ability you can actually hide in the Savage Worlds one, hide it in a pocket dimension, pull it out. There it is. That was more just like this is more like video game explanation, but
Oh, it's the bag of holding.
Yeah. It's just your pocket, really.
I do have the art for some bracers. We do have that. That could be interesting. That would be interesting. It's something if you would have.
The quantum bracers was really sad because it was one of the coolest looking ones, and the mission for it was one of the best, but it was the most useless to actually use in the game.
Well, that's the cool thing about an RPG. We can make it as bad.
You can make it. You can make it useful.
Where is?
Yeah, the quantum bracer was a healing thing, and it was bad at it. Not only was it not damage, right, which it was heal only, and it was bad at healing. So it was just a bad.
Here it is.
But the mission for it was cool as shit. The actual aesthetic of it was cool. It just had really bad abilities.
Well, we can change that all we want, so that won't be a problem.
It even had its own monster for the mission where you get it. It's like a quantum enemy. And the only time you ever see it in the game, the model's still in Legends, you can make it show up with photo mode.
Mm-hmm. I like the image of Hell's flamethrower right here. I'm looking at.
Yeah, the weapons had different skins for the Ox weapons.
Yeah.
So you could get you could have an Orochi, flamethrower, or a demonic one, or the Soviet one skins were pretty cool. The Soviet chainsaw was pretty nice.
Here's the Darkness Wars quantum weapon. Yeah.
Waffle, I'm pretty much sure you were changed to that creature.
Which one?
Waffle's in first person over here.
Yeah, because.
Oh, there you go. Nice. That is the character from the Quantum Bracer mission. He comes out like a quantum thing and starts shooting at you. That's the only time you ever saw him in the game, is if you did the mission.
I was wondering because my screen jumped a little bit. What happened here?
Well, I mean, I think stuff like that, there's things we can play with and add to, and/or.
Yeah. This is just stuff that's in the game,
I mean, what we could do is, if, for example, instead of, say, making a new weapon, you have your pistol, but if you get this version of it, you get extra abilities that you wouldn't have. You could say, hey, here's all the abilities for the sword, but if you get the chain sword, it also does this, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And there's different, because one thing I want to be careful is that people are like, well, make it. I've had some people make it work exactly like the video game. I'm like, well, this isn't a video game. And other people have told me I made it too much like the video game. I'm like, well, it's still, I don't think that's true either. But you try and find a balance between what works best for the tabletop, but gives enough feeling of the game for those that can appreciate it, and just keeps things all organized. You know, kind of thematically the same. So there's that. It makes it sound like I know what I'm talking about.
I would say that would always be an issue, right? Trying to go from one genre to another, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have the, for example, in the video game, your powers have like a timer and they react and you reuse them over and over and over again. And that same amount of time that you've used that weapon in a video game, you would never use it that much in a role-playing game. And we also have to limit the power points or something in the game to give it that timing is going to be different in a role-playing game, because you have to leave that resource management as part of always playing a role-playing game. So you don't want it to be so easy that they can just spam that attack 100 times. It would be unmanageable in a tabletop. It's like a video game where something else is handling all the rolls and the damage. You're just clicking, you know, so you have to, it's going to play differently. It just gives you sort of an feeling of that, but not a copy of that.
Yeah, because you can't really shoehorn one system into another, like video game characteristics into tabletop too well.
Farmer says, but you can spam Eldritch Blast in D&D.
But only once per round.
Right.
Not 20 times per round. You know, so you're
I mean, that's
you're
what do they call that? The
UCD?
It's a cantrip.
No, the cantrips. That's it.
Oh,
yeah.
the cantrip. I was thinking of like the global cooldown. Like, I mean, we have that too. Technically, it's just that our global cooldown is not a round. It's a second.
Right.
The video game does have a GCD. It's just of a second.
Yeah, when you're playing with a bunch of people.
I think D&D rounds are probably longer than a second. Probably.
Well, it doesn't matter how long it supposedly represents. It's how long does it take everyone to roll their dice, add their damage, and tell the GM what's going on. And that can be...
Okay, so 20 minutes.
Per person. I played with a person who, when they would roll their dice, I mean, we were 15 minutes waiting for them to do that one roll. So, it's a thing. Definitely so.
I mean, that's always usually loose in tabletop anyway, that it's like 1 round equals 6 seconds, and it's like, yeah, but
that's why I used to roll a D10, and then you'd know that you're going on this 6 second thing, and you know, each game too tries to tell you too is that, like, for example, in D&D, you make your attack, and someone says, well, I swing my sword and I hit them for 8 points of damage. It never represented actual damage. But it's such an abstract way of doing it, because the whole representation is more like, you may not have actually, but people will say, I hit him with my sword for damage, and it gives the idea that sword hits them for 8 points of damage. So I hit this normal human for 8 points and they're dead, but I hit you for 8 points and you're fine, because it never was actually damage. It's you dodged, you parried, you're getting tired, you're supposed, and because we all describe it as damage, it feels like, oh, in 6 seconds you only hit them once.
Right,
yeah. Why'd that take 6 seconds? It's supposed to be, you're supposed to, you know, understand that it's more going on, but that's not the way it's ever really explained when people play it. So you if you were to take the time, and if you explain it every time, is that intricate and all that stuff too, it also takes too long. So sometimes you just say,
like, you take 8 damage, but that damage isn't actually, like, you know, you just got your arm sliced open.
Right.
You know,
you got pushed, you got kicked, you blocked with your sword, but it hurt your arm because you
didn't get, like, stabbed through the chest. Yeah, it's
right. The stab
something
is the
that you
one
can
when
still
you're
come
zero.
back from.
No, I'm the Kool-Aid man, and I lost this amount of my liquid out of,
right.
out of the thing. And when it gets empty, I am dead.
But that is why on the other hand, Savage
Stop
Worlds...
freaking me!
That sounds weird. That's why Savage Worlds, I think one thing I do like about that is that you have 3 wounds.
Yes. Yeah.
Everyone's essentially the same. There are a couple exceptions where some people can be a little bit tougher, but you're roughly the same level of once you take 3 wounds, you're down and could, you know, the 4th one you're incapacitated, 5th one you're dying. It's just how hard it is to actually hurt you. And so it's just different games can represent different things. So it's interesting. I'm looking at another system for. I'm interested for something later on as well. So there's just different ways of representing everything. It's the fun part, the mechanics. I pay people to be smarter than me to figure it out. I say, I like this idea. Will it work? And they say yes or no. Smarter people than me do everything. Now, I will point out, someone asked earlier today.
I mean, yeah.
We were talking about I don't play the video game anymore. I don't want to put on my computer. Too many problems trying to make it work, and I can't have my computer go down. I've got gigs of art and other stuff. I don't have the time to mess with anything that messes anything up. And so they're like, well, how do you create this without having the source material? I'm like, well, that's not true, because number one, when I first got the license, and they were joking, I think, or maybe they were serious, I don't know. And my answer is, well, of course I have the source material, because my wife plays and she has 3 level 50 characters. But there's a reason why I waited 2 years before we even made the book, is because I was looking for people that were actually, they played, or in my case, Josh writes it, put it in there. Why are you glowing?
I have been turned into what I think is a bowl of soup.
I think it's a bowl of soup, yeah.
Yeah. I'm just a jumping bowl of soup over here.
Well, you're going to be empty. Your soup will be on the floor and you'll die. We just talked about that.
That's a callback to this comment.
Mikey, stop swimming in me.
I was sorry.
Across the floor. -6 HP.
Sorry, I had to do that. Yeah, there was quite a little discussion that came up in our Discord earlier. I almost felt like I had to come in and be like, guys, calm down.
No, it's just a matter of I found people that I knew, I was like, hey, you got anyone who actually does this stuff? I mean, Vomer early on had me pestering the heck out of them, and I ended up getting a hold of Josh, and Josh became our resident guru, which worked out well because of the amount of direct connection with Funcom. There is definitely good for us as far as getting stuff done. And then of course, like I said, I asked my wife, is this a good idea? She goes, no. She'll say, no, you don't know about this. It's like listen, when I played Secret World with her, I don't like puzzles. I'm not the puzzle guy. I'm the guy who, when you're going to a fight, I go, who am I supposed to kill? Okay, that's how I play most of my video games, which is why I mostly play Remnant now. I kill stuff. And I was just like, okay, you solve the puzzle while I fight so-and-so. And puzzles are great. I think they're amazing. If you like them, do more puzzles.
Yeah.
Do 10,000 puzzles, Momer. But that's not me on your team. I'm the guy who's fighting the bad stuff while you solve the puzzle. So, that's just the way I like to play games. I like to kill it. And I'm not even a first-person shooter. I like more MMORPGs, where there's more to it, but I don't want to, solving puzzles and riddles and stuff makes me go crazy.
I want to say, when we played with Andy, remember when we did the sort of test game with Andy, that he was sort of like that same way. He's like, usually in games, he's like, I just like to play the I just hit things character. I just smack everything around.
Absolutely valid way to play, and you should enjoy it if you do. So long as you're not, as long as it works well as whatever team you're playing with. You know what I mean? There's, you especially in a game where there is combat, you want someone who's good at it, and you want someone maybe who's better at the puzzles. And altogether, as long as everyone has their role to play, it can be great. So, I should have gotten to play in the game that Josh ran. That would have been interesting. I had to go that day, so I didn't get to sit there and listen to it. But apparently they had a blast.
I'm not quite sure who was there, but I did see someone talk about it. I did see someone basically say, yes, it was awesome. Yes, it was amazing. And yes,
Joe.
it was mostly in Chicago. What's that?
Old Average Joe.
Yes.
He was there.
Yeah.
He's on my stream all the time.
Kind of worked out well because Josh, he knew Chicago really well. He knew the story. I gave him a crash course on Savage Worlds prior to him to running it. Let's do a couple of rolls of combat and stuff, and all, to kind of showed him how the basic target numbers were achieved. But he didn't know the rules really well because he doesn't play a lot. And the one of the guys playing it knew the rules really well. So he was like, "We're gonna do this." And I said, "Yeah, but you got to roll this." He said, "Great, everyone roll that." And that's kind of how that went.
That's right.
He knew the story.
You're like, I'm going to go off of you. Roll. That's fine. Yeah.
You tell me what to roll. I'll tell you how the story goes. But everybody, and really honestly, that again, you don't really have to know the rules to run the game. You just have to be consistent in your decisions.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't change the rules on the players every session. That's not good.
Yeah.
So. Or if you're gonna do that, make sure you have a nice fancy wheel that you spin.
Yeah, best way to do it.
And be like, aha! So this week,
right now, I think I'm gonna take that to a convention. I'm gonna make the wheel of doom and roll stuff on. This is what happens now.
I mean, that's basically what Dark Agartha is, right? Basically, it's basically
every day.
We have a dungeon in the game called Dark Agartha, and it's basically a futuristic version of Agartha, where basically it's almost like the end of time, essentially.
Oh, it's broken loose.
Can't wait to get the story in the RPG.
And it's a different timeline. Every time you go in, every day, it's a different timeline. So it's always messed up. It's just whatever bosses are there to fight. And then whatever modifiers they have is different in that version. But the one consistent is it's always fucked. The future is fucked.
Sorry, go ahead. I didn't interrupt. Vomer's like Dark Agartha is a potential alternate dark timeline. Yeah. Our time. But if I write it to the book, it might be the timeline when I'm done writing the book. No.
That's right.
Hold on. I think that's an assumption. I think that's an assumption, Vomer. I think it is the end of our timeline.
I have some ideas what the end of the timeline.
Or sorry, a potential end of our timeline.
A potential end. I mean,
when I had the call way back with the guys at Funcom, they kind of told me how the story's supposed to go, what the theory was, stuff that for whatever reason I can't say what the specifics they said were.
Yeah, sure. I'm not even gonna ask because I know you can't say.
They gave me ideas so I know what to work with. Like, this is what we want to do, and whether that ever happens or not, I don't know. But like this was the intended story. And I'm like, okay, so now that I know that, that did influence the way we wrote some things. That's kind of, it does influence the existence of why the choices matter with your character. But anyway, well, it's like 10:15, guys, so I enjoy hanging out with you and you're amazing, but I think I should probably head out for the night.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Brandon Verhalen from Star Anvil Studios, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us and enlightening us about what's coming up with the Secret World North America. I'm going to once more plug the Kickstarter. Go check it out on Kickstarter. Not up yet. Is there any timeline as far as when it might come up next?
Early first quarter.
First quarter. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely going to be first quarter, unless I fall off a cliff. It'll be first quarter. I'll give you a more definitive timeline. It'll be announced in December. End of December, I will announce the definitive timeline. But anyway, thanks for having me.
Okay. All right. Much appreciated. Have a good night, and hopefully we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks. Good night.
Right. Bye.
Bye.
Excellent. Secret World North America. Awesome. Okay. And a whole bunch of other stuff we talked about. As we get changed into random shit.
I think it was all relatively related.
Off my computer.
Except for possibly the soup thing. This might not be related.
Soup not necessarily related.
No, actually that's not true. It is related. It was related to taking damage in the TTRPG and like the conversation about you took like attack for 8 damage, but what is 8 damage really?
Oh, right.
How is that happening in a round?
You said you were the Kool-Aid man.
And then it's like obviously when I lose liquid, and now I'm soup, and now I'm soup. That's how that it all ties together.
The Secret World version of Kool-Aid Man, yes. The bowl of soup.
When my bowl is empty, I am dead. I said stop. I think I said stop drinking me, and I'm pretty sure that got a response. I wasn't expecting that part.
They're like, stop swimming in me. I did get a screenshot.
That one got a chuckle, but the stop drinking me part, I think disturbing or something.
He's like, what?
I was trying to say it in like the ravenous, like stop eating me kind of thing.
Yes,
that's what I was going for.
So, but no, it was good. It was great having Brandon on. Yes, but he does understand how we roll sometimes.
I sounded like he got a couple ideas. He mentioned he was taking notes on a couple things. So.
Oh yeah.
You know. Sometimes you just let the madness out and things.
I did like that idea of making a Florida man their own cryptid. It's just a great idea, really. All right.
Just like a shape-shifting version of who the fuck is that guy's name on the commercials? Mayhem.
Oh yeah.
Florida Man's just like a shape-shifting version of that guy that's just running around like fucking shit up.
Like, stop. Yeah, the insurance guy. Yeah. They are their own.
I mean, he's basically a cryptid, right? Like he is all the mayhem happening all the time. So so Florida Man would be I picture it'd be like that guy kind of, except he shapeshifts into whatever bizarre person is doing whatever thing.
I agree. Sounds very plausible. Feel like it's a more modern cryptid.
You know, they need Florida Man insurance. That's what they need.
Mm-hmm.
Be protected from Florida Man. And then like they're
actually working in cahoots. They're actually teamed up.
I'm saying like Waffle should have Florida Man insurance is what I'm saying.
Mm.
And then something really bizarre happens to him, like he would file a claim.
Florida Man insurance doesn't even. Florida Man. They don't do any claims in the state. They left as well.
You're like, I made this claim, and then mayhem showed up. But I mean, it makes sense. Yes, I'd play that. I'd totally go for that because we even have certain things like in Tokyo, there's Mr. In Between. Right?
Yeah.
It's just the idea from just that one song.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
The don't mess with Mr. In Between.
He's trying to suck up. It's not into art. Well, I don't remember if it says he's pulling us in, but he's definitely trying to eat our energy and feed it to the dead guy. Yeah, that part is correct. I don't remember if he's actually like pulling us in.
I don't remember the exact specifics either. So,
but yes, anything that anything, right? Everything is made of stars. Yeah. Anything that crosses his path, he's trying to feed into Gaia.
But it really turned around that song. I heard it a couple months ago in something, and it was like, yeah, don't mess with Mr. In Between. And I was like, oh, shit.
Okay, here it is.
Damn, that's right.
Oh, no, hear it. Okay. The damaged Guardian is unhinged. Its programming is frayed. Its warp protocols compel it to reach into other times and pull Gaia-imbued bees to it. Like you, Sweetling, it will try to extract anima from you and feed it to dead Gaia. A sorrowful sight were we alive to see, like a deranged toddler stuffing meat into the mouth of its mother's corpse, pushing her jaw up and down, trying to masticate for her, even as the flies land upon her clouded eyes. That's an amazing visual paragraph.
That is visceral as all get out.
I know when Bomber pasted it in chat. I'm in the game. I just pulled up the legend because I'm in the game.
You could always check tswdb.com. Zero Point Report. It's one sponsored by
possible future in the writhing bouquet of existence. But it's a one. By the way, it's the one legend where the buzzing comes clean and says, "We didn't actually tell you everything." Like all the other legends, like that don't really say, like you sort of implicitly trust whatever shows up in the lore from the buzzing.
Yeah.
And I remember some dev streams where Tilty was like, basically, no one is a reliable narrator.
Yeah, even the buzzing.
And this is the one official from the horse's mouth. They're like, so we didn't tell you everything, we withheld. So they're not saying that they lied so much as they lied by omission. But you can do a lot of damage with lying by omission.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. I don't know, the Dark Agartha legends in general, like is some of the is that some of the last legends that happened as well? I want to say. It's got to be some of the most recent legends, I would think.
It's probably some of the most recent.
I mean, Occult Defense, I guess, technically comes after that. But that's specific to the Druid stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The stream is brought to you by Kool-Aid, Do Not Drink Me, and Campbell's Chunky Noodle Soup, podcast by the spoonful. I like that. It's really good.
Chunky.
You guys want to try and do a little bingo before we...
Bingo?
Finish stuff out?
Jimmy created a way to basically play dailies bingo. Say, would you like to explain what this bingo is?
It's bingo.
Yes.
So the idea is it's to do with the daily challenges. The main thing is that I put together like a set of I think it's like 128 bingo cards. And so you can use bingosync.com and make a room and paste in those cards. I have the file up on my website so people can grab it. And yeah, you can generate a random bingo board and then do these different things that are all should count towards your daily challenges and attempt to get a bingo.
It's basically a way to, as we discussed, sort of like make it so that if you're going to be coming on and doing your daily, that you're not just hitting the same exact stuff over and over and over and over again. That it's sort of a way to randomize your own play, essentially, so that you get to replay stuff that you may not have seen in a while.
Yeah, so in this card, the middle spot is Dark Agartha. Middle being pretty powerful for trying to get a bingo line going. But also, maybe not the quickest.
Right.
There's certainly other things that would probably be quicker.
Kill 100 Paduri, my god.
Yeah, some of them are easier than others. So let's see. Which one is this? Oh, this one. So for example, I can do this. And then where the hell's the board? Oh my god. Where is the board?
I've got the board up.
Bam! I stole Empower Luck Talisman. Get screwed.
God damn it.
Now you can't get that one. I already empowered my Luck Talisman.
And my bank is filled with stuff. Oh no.
I empowered Waste Talisman. And Wrist Talisman, which gets me 3 different talismans.
God damn it.
4-0 so far. I've been playing for about 5 seconds.
I'm like, do I have finger signet? God damn it.
Yeah, there's a couple signet ones. There's 3 different signet ones.
What are you doing?
Which ones are...
Stop.
Now
I'm like, wait. Occult waste. Do I even have wrist?
Occult Talisman.
God damn it! That's what. Oh no, that wasn't what I was working on.
But I don't have a bingo yet. I just have squares. Though if we can't get bingos, it's majority. I'm definitely in the lead for majority at this point.
We don't have anything to shove into it. God damn it!
Okay. Phrasing.
Get down.
Phrasing. Oh,
She's being a pain right now. This one. She's decided now. She's trying to get behind my computer again.
Wait, which things are spirits?
You.
Is that the green ones or is that the fire ones? Bomber, do you remember?
Could you calm down? Could you stop, please?
It's spirit. So what? The other ones are wisps. Okay. I couldn't remember which because they basically look the same, right? Just different colors.
Oh gosh.
I have no idea what Waffle's doing because he's got the bingo board covering the entire screen.
He does.
So just FYI, what I do, Waffle, is I just crop just the board and like throw that up in the corner when I'm doing it. Now I'm a floating head in a bowl of soup since I teleported away.
It's the best kind.
Interesting.
All right. I just realized I looked in my bank and I've got all kinds of stuff from Halloween that I've not been keeping up on.
Oops. Okay, I think I can track this.
And then the weapons. I don't have those weapons on me.
Are you using OBS?
No, I'm using Ecamm.
Do you have a way to like so in OBS you can like crop what's showing? Can you crop what's showing? Yeah, like that. So like I'm saying you could make it just show the board. You don't need like any of the rest of the screen. That'd probably be better.
You have a lot on there to empower signets, and I'm like, I got shit to empower signets.
I did re-randomize the board a few times because there was a couple that were like
Have a good night, Masick.
Have a good night, Masick. Thanks for stopping by, my friend.
So I got one a cab.
You got one a cab.
Yeah. There's two.
We got Ouija boards. Do we need Ouija boards?
289. Okay, so what did that be?
4. The little ones count 2.
41, I think.
Five. 6.
Here I am like,
7.
Hold on. I'm updating my inventory. I'm organizing my inventory. Dang it.
Wait. 39, I think. Oh my god, dude. Fire spirits fucking... They like... Sometimes they just launch. They land and just launch you. Dude, it takes longer than you think to like find 50 of these fucking things to kill.
Bank lady. Okay, there we go. No, wait, I want the bank. Jimmy, you're not soup anymore, right?
No, I am soup, and I have a floating head, actually.
It's okay, so you stayed soup. Okay, good.
I'm still soup.
I was worried. I was worried that
that I wasn't soup anymore?
That you weren't soup anymore.
No, I'm definitely still soup.
Good.
But somehow when I teleported, it added the floating head back. So I'm a floating head above soup.
Well, I mean, someone's got to drink that soup.
You threatening me?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Are you threatening me? Setting myself on fire by accident.
So we did have some other news. Did we? We had news?
Did we?
We did have some news, but it's news now mostly relating to other Funcom properties. Specifically, Dune Awakening. Dune Awakening announced that it's coming to PC early 2025, and they're really pushing hard for Dune Awakening right now. They released the Communinet Signal number 3 for Dune Awakening to basically say how they're going about the world with it. They said, we're back again with our 3rd edition of the Communinet Signal. As with previous issues, we're going to round up all the goings-on and happenings surrounding Dune Awakening in the past weeks for your reading pleasure. In the last issue, we shared everything there was to see at Gamescom in Germany. This time, we're going to take you to conventions in California, Japan, and Brazil. So even if you didn't get an opportunity to check out our booths in person, we can share a little bit of Arrakis with you here. We also have some fantastic artwork created by our community, new assets right from our own artists, and answers to some of your burning questions. And one of the coolest things I thought they showed in that entire thing was they showed an ornithopter work in progress image, and it looks baller. It does. It looks great. You know, you can send out emails reminding people to do the beta sign-up surveys relatively recently as well. Yes, I mean, the surveys have been going on. They have indeed. Ornithopter. Insect type flying machine. Yes, love it. Let's go check that out. They put up their Communinet signal. And then other things, Dune Spice Wars came up with their community update number 4 with new conquests, which I believe in Dune Awakening, the conquests are the story mode, sort of like a way to run through it with like a story progression almost.
You mean Dune Spice Wars, right?
Yes. That's what I said, right?
Unless I misheard you, I thought you said Awakening again.
Oh, no. A Dune Spice Wars, yeah.
You missaid it or I misheard it. One
of those two, yeah. Yes, Dune Spice Wars, the RTS. And they added Fremen and Smuggler conquests. So a Fremen conquest. A whole Fremen storyline. That could be cool. What's that?
What?
I missed that. What did you say?
That's cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I thought that was really cool. And then other than that, Aloft, which is a game developed by Astrolab Interactive, published by Funcom, and they've been pushing it, though. Described as a cozy sandbox survival. So, not Conan Exiles, but still survival.
First when I saw that, I was kind of like, meh. But I saw the more recent trailer, and I kind of like want to check that out.
I kind of dig it. It's the artwork looks cool. The artwork especially looks really cool, and it's all about like floating from island to island.
I got 50.
Nice, dude.
What did you get 50 of? There you go. Someone else is on the board.
Oh, I'm about to be 2. I just took a break to talk about the news. But yeah, no, Aloft looks cool, and it's being published by Funcom, so it's not developed by Astrolab Entertainment. I'm sorry, Astrolab Interactive. My bad.
Yeah, when I got that email, I'm like, what is this game? Funcom. What?
Yeah, and they've been pushing it too.
I was doing this the other night, and like, I swear to God, I needed to get I think the other night it was hotel as well. I needed to get hotel. And like,
okay.
I must have queued for a scenario like fucking 15 times. I kept getting like either castle or mansion. I was like, God damn it. Just let me fucking get hotel already. This shit is wrong with you. And I went on a rant about how it's really dumb that we can't pick our stuff. I genuinely don't like it. I don't like that you can only randomize into dungeons or scenarios. It's just super annoying.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not changing anytime soon, probably ever, but like it doesn't make me less annoyed by it. Actually, that probably just is more annoying that it's not going to change.
No.
The weirdest part about being soup is I can't see where I'm attacking. At least I can run and jump though. Like, you know?
You can still attack.
I don't think it affects my sprint speed negatively, and I can jump. Because apparently rabbits can't jump and bowls of soup can.
Make it make sense.
See some other people getting on the board.
Doing the dag signets.
Damn it, that's what I was looking for. I was like, oh.
I was like, I know I got stuff. But I didn't. Clearing out my inventory. There we go. But what do they say earlier? I don't know if it's the same way because I haven't been in the beta. Specifically because if I was in the beta, I couldn't talk about it.
How do we know how to trust you, Mikey?
That's what I mean.
How do we know how to trust you?
Well, I'm not in the
That's
beta.
Exactly what a person that is in the beta would say.
That's what they would say. I signed no NDA. I signed nothing. I'm allowed to talk about it.
Fight Soup Club.
That's the first rule.
Fight. Soup Fight Club.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Apparently these Oni did not get the message. They're not supposed to fight me.
I'm thinking of what would it be like? Campbell's Fight Club soup.
That'd be a hell of like a movie tie-in.
It's promotion. Chunky. Actually, I literally think I'm blocked all ways. Except for if I go run and do Dark Agartha.
Oh, I got rid of... Damn it.
I mean, nothing says you can't do, like, E1 Dark Agartha. You know?
Try to see if I remember how to jump down. First try. Jumping down to Dark Agartha. Oh, I even have a Dark Agartha build. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. It's like I've played this game before.
One could almost be fooled into believing that. That's true.
I know. Sometimes it's not the most experienced that you hear from. Sometimes it's just the person who wants to talk about it. Always remember that, right? When someone is talking about a topic, sometimes they are not going to be the most well known on a topic. They're not going to be the person who is the biggest expert in the world. Sometimes it's just going to be the person capable of talking about it.
Now I set this room up as lockout, which is why we can block. But you when you make the room, you can actually pick. So if you made it not lockout, then you both would pick the square, and it would color it, like would split it diagonally and color the square. You know, I don't know what it is for third, but I've seen it diagonal. Like, so it'll split coloring if you don't do lockout mode.
Okay,
you know. I think lockout's more fun because it gives you, like, you know, strategy around blocking someone else's bingo versus just you both could use this. You without lockout, you both could just do the same 5 squares. It's just who does it faster, I guess, technically.
Gosh, it's been a while since I've done Dark Agartha. Been a while.
Well, that's the thing, Palmer. I can't see what he's doing.
Okay, so you could, if
I share my screen,
broadcast his shit on Discord, then you could capture from there potentially.
That's true.
But you'd have to actually do that.
Would you like me to? Share your screen. The game.
That is the nice thing about like Discord, right? Is that like literally anyone could just be like, "Oh yeah, I'm just going to share what I'm doing."
Yeah,
and you know what I mean. Like you don't have to like have streaming shit set up yourself or anything like that.
So you don't necessarily need the audio.
Are you trying to tell Waffle what he needs or doesn't need? How dare you?
No, I'm trying to. You don't need that.
How dare you, sir?
You don't need that. All right, there we go.
Are you trying to Florida splain? Okay, Florida splain is a thing now because I just made it up. I want everyone to use that
instead of mansplain, Florida splain.
Yeah, Florida splain.
I shared it, so
yeah. Give me 1 second. I got to move Discord into that.
I was gonna say, do what you got to do on your end. My itty bitty self.
All right, you're tiny.
It does add the added challenge of when you go to target something, I do have to look up at them.
Yeah.
Oh, where'd the guy go? All the way the heck over there. What are you doing all the way over here, dude? I don't know you can run away from me like that. And just to make it interesting, I'm not just doing E1. Ooh, shoot, get out of there. Get out of there. Get out of there. Move.
Yeah, you don't stand in that.
Now you're trying to Florida explain to Mikey.
That's right.
Jersey explain.
Jersey. Wait, is it? I thought it was the whoever is doing the explaining. That's what the name. That's what it's attached to. That's why it's called mansplaining.
No. But I switched it around for the Florida thing. That was the whole point. I changed. Okay. I changed the rules.
That rule has changed itself. Go. I'm not even looking at what the things are. So that means you can New York explain? Yeah. And I can Jersey explain. Which sounds... There's a toxic spores. Jersey explain sounds a lot like a thing, though.
Also kind of just sounds like you're saying Jersey is plain.
It's Jersey plain.
Yeah, that's just the Jersey version of plain, right?
Plain old Jersey. Oh, it's probably a thing I have to stand in.
Oh yeah, that one. That's the gotta stand in the ring so that you don't die to the fungus. Right? It's it's the fungus effect or something. I think that's literally like the fungus like trying to consume you or some shit like that.
Hey, GK. Pardon me, hatchling. Move out of the way. I'm trying to see what this GK can do. No, you're not going to move? I'm just going to die. That's fine. I was just stepping in the spores. It's okay. Beware the fungus that thrives in the world, for it feeds indiscriminately. This diet may have had some unusual results. And why is it that color?
Did you just Did you just die while trying to read the lore? Is that what happened?
No. Almost died while trying to read the lore.
I wasn't paying attention to that screen for a second.
I didn't actually die.
And I was like, wait a minute.
I didn't actually die. I almost died.
Almost died.
Okay. Difference, yeah. All right, GK. I forget this fight. Do I need I think I need an impair?
Only if he has Anima Drain and or Redistribution.
No.
If he doesn't have Anima Drain or Anima Redistribution, you don't need an impair.
I was like, I thought this one, I thought he always did. So that's good to know.
He has the Anima Drain, like, I feel like most of the time, but it actually isn't mandatory. It's just like the most common one that he has.
Whee! It is trippy fighting from the smaller angle, I must say. Jeebus! Because I'm just running around like a madman. And sort of like how like you're in your first person playthrough, you have to, you find yourself looking directions you don't normally look.
Yeah.
It's that same sort of effect. Like I'm always looking up. Yeah, So that wasn't the E level that I'm currently at. That wasn't my max E level. I'll just say that.
But it wasn't E1.
But it wasn't E1 either. I was like E3.
Gotcha. Wait, did you get it?
Yep.
You gotta mark your square, dude.
I'm getting there. Bam!
Technically, you should have marked it like as soon as Gatekeeper died. That's when the
Well, I also knew that neither one of you was in Dark Agartha, so I was pretty safe.
I mean,
pretty safe from that being stolen.
I'm operating, like, in the back of my head, I'm still thinking of, like, bingo brawler stuff, and it's like, you have, like, 5 seconds to mark the square or something.
Okay, yeah. Or if you're actually playing bingo,
because
you gotta, like...
If you're not playing with people that can see what you're doing, right? Like, if you're... Then the other person could be doing it. Neither of you would know that. So
kind of the point of bingo, yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to waste... It would be detrimental if you don't immediately mark it. If for no other reason than they could mark it before you, technically, right?
Yes, yeah.
You just lose it.
No. I was remembered about something the other day, and it was the idea that when you died, you had to, if you wanted to transport somewhere, you had to reset yourself.
Yeah.
In old TSW.
Yeah, I had a set of gear I used for that. I had like a set of white gear in TSW that I would put on before I did a reset. Because remember, your gear had to be repaired.
Mm-hmm. So that was sort of like, oh, I want to transport somewhere, and yeah, so you had to kill yourself every time.
You remember the first Matrix, right? When the guy starts unplugging people. The guy that betrays them.
Mm-hmm.
He just starts like literally unplugging them in real life, and in the Matrix they just sort of like fall over, like they just flop. I was like TSW like during anniversary stuff or whatever, like world bosses. After it's dead, you see 100 people just flop over like they just got unplugged. That was always funny.
Just flop, yeah. Remember, am I on 21? Something. I'm like trying to figure out. I'm doing one of the kill ones, and I'm like, how do I remember? I'm just trying to count in my head.
I mean, you could look at your achievement and just see like where you're at, I suppose.
Yeah.
I have Infarmer installed, so I just checked spirits and then did it until it went up 50, you know?
30. 35. So just hear me just ranking up numbers. 30. You're not a familiar. Out the way, you're not a familiar. 41. 42. 46. 50. 54. 58, because I will easily lose count. 62. 63. 67. 68. 69.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you. 70.
My game crashed. No.
71. Oh no! That should be on the board.
Game crash?
Game crash, yeah.
People will just fucking like control delete their game. That's not.
Future Tech Cash. Wait a minute. The Future Tech Cash is dropping again?
Yeah.
Nice. 74, 75. I think that's where I was. $76. I have a theory, by the way. I have a theory, by the way. My theory is that my character is fairly small, right? They shortened me, right? We all know this. Mm-hmm. That's not the surprising thing. The thing is that I believe that the drop rate for caches is extremely small for me. And my theory is that they somehow tied, in the spaghetti code way... Where am I?
Do you think they tied drop rate to your size?
That the drop rate for caches is tied to the size of your character.
I don't think so.
It sounds crazy, right?
Well,
except
because it is crazy.
It is crazy. Except I am now... Okay, there we go. That's probably 100. I've probably killed over 100 now at this point. And guess how many caches have dropped?
There is code for it, actually, though. There's...
Like, 100... I just killed 100. And how many caches dropped? 1 cache.
Bingo!
You didn't get the bottom. Very nice. Very nice. By the way, yeah, I did pick up the kill.
I literally killed the Jinn, the last boss, and then the game crashed. And I was like, mother...
Congratulations, Jimmy. Well done. Well done. I came close.
Played.
Well,
I was going for that diagonal.
I blocked your diagonal with the Hell Fallen.
Yes. I was like, but I was in the middle of killing familiars, so it's not like I was actually at that point yet. Although I could have done Hell Fallen possibly
before
first.
I did Hotel.
What's that?
I did Hell Fallen before I did Hotel.
Yeah, and I didn't see it. So it would have been like, well, damn it. I don't have anywhere to go. That was the only one I had. That's why I said once I did the signets, and I looked, and you had done the wrist talismans, and you had done the luck talismans down at the bottom. Then I was like, well, I can't go that way, and I can't go that way. The only way I can go is diagonal.
If it was 2-person bingo, you would have more options.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, even still, that's just you and me.
Oh, you would have... Sorry. So basically, if Waffle wasn't playing, you would have had row 4 to go for.
Right, yes. Okay.
That would have been the only one I think you could have gone for.
Mm-hmm.
Other than if you tried to do Hell Fallen quicker, I suppose.
But it's like, after Dark of Gartham, maybe I could have tried Hell Fallen, yeah. Like, maybe I could have done that Extended Familiars, but... You may have already been in there already, so I would have already been.
Like I'm E12, so like doing Hell Fallen story mode, which is also the only way you can do Hell Fallen anyways, but is stupid fast, right? I'm just two-shotting a boss or something.
And I could still do it fast.
And then I would honestly say the scenarios are kind of like the evener because those are just straight timed. Right, so whether you're doing S&P 1 or 17, it does not matter, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess technically the kill time on the boss could be... If you were trying to win, like, really hard, you would just do S&P 1, if only to make the boss timer shorter, right?
Sure.
Because the waves are just timed. Period. Flat. Like, you can't do it. Like, no matter how fast you kill shit, the wave is the wave.
Yeah.
But the boss can be shortened. Now, I did as high as I could go. I did an E12 S&P because I just need the distance. You know? But if I was racing someone, I would do level 1 just so that the boss timer is quicker, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
But...
And again, this is set for lockout. If you play without lockout, then we both could have been marking squares.
Right. Then I wouldn't have had to have chosen. I probably wouldn't have done Dark Agartha. I probably would have done something else. But I was like, I'm doing it. I'm going for it.
I went for the bottom one because I felt like it was probably the fastest, but I guess I'm not positive. So like column 1 is the thing I didn't like about a lot of the other ones is they have like kill 100 of stuff, right? 100 ghouls and 100 cultists in column 1. Everything else is fast. And power, right? Like those are really, really fast.
Mm-hmm.
But killing 200 of anything is...
I mean, I did have to go to the auction hall and find signets and stuff in there.
That's why.
Yeah, I suppose.
I had to buy an assault rifle. I'm like, I don't have one.
yeah, same. I was like, the assault rifle that I have is in my bag.
I'll tell you, even though I've just been playing, so I think I've done 2 streams so far, where I was playing bingo like just with my own dailies, just to see what I could do, and I will say that I have straight up, with my legendary gear, paid like $2,000 to rip out a glyph that's maxed to put in a non-level glyph in order to empower that glyph in that slot to get the challenge, and then rip it back out and put the right glyph back in, like just to get the bingo card, you know?
Mm-hmm. But no, I was... Go back a bit. When I started thinking that there was a correlation between your character's height and drop rate for caches, it was because of the Future Tech cache. Before they started with the... What cache did they have for Halloween? It was the... I'm not going to think of it.
The Haunted?
The Haunted cache, yes. They had the Haunted cache for Halloween, and they had the Future Tech cache before that. And so I was like, I'm going to go farm some Future Tech caches so I can get my stack back up to 100. Because when we did the show where, during the anniversary, where you were giving away the keys and I was giving away the caches.
Yeah.
Almost everyone asked for Future Tech.
Yeah.
Right? And so, I guess they took notice of that and they said, hey, we're bringing back Future Tech. Because we have not had it in a long time. And so I used that time to bring my Future Tech cache stack back up to 100. I was sitting there farming zombies for what felt like forever. And I only got like 5.
You get like a diminishing return as well. And I'm not sure. Like Vollmer said, like, of the day. But I think it might also be one of those things where it's like maybe not of the day for you, but like of the day, period.
Oh, you mean like of anyone's day? Oh my gosh, wait, my cat's behind my computer again.
Is he going to decide to cut you off?
Quite possibly.
It's bedtime. I'm biting through your power cord now.
How do you get back? How did you get back there? Okay, well, I can't reach her.
Ways and means. That's how I get back there.
Oh, gosh, this cat.
Okay, so just as an example of how I know this is a thing in Secret World in general, is that you remember in like scenarios dropped augments in TSW? Mm-hmm. So, and they could drop gold augments. They were rare.
Wait, she's not behind me.
The drop rate of that seemed like horrible. Like just, but then also some people were just like would just rain gold for them, and then other people would just like never get a fucking gold, right?
Okay.
And I remember specifically Tilty addressing that on a dev stream was that the correct amount of gold augments were being given out. Like the code was like, so many X gold augments should be given out a day, essentially, right? Like they didn't want to flood the system with gold augments. However, the way it was doing it was not spread out. So basically, whoever was in the time zone that was on after like the server restart or after that internal ticker ticked over, like got on. Those fuckers, it would rain gold, and everyone else would be fucked for the rest of the day. And they're like, no, the server's giving out the right amount of gold.
Yeah, they're like, it's perfectly fine. You're
the right amount is going out all at the same fucking time, jackasses. And all of the same people, which explains, like, Shoddy was always up, like, in the morning, like, in Germany, and every time he did his S&Ps, he fucking gold. And then by the time I get online and do in my morning... Nothing.
Interesting. Okay.
So, like, just know that it's a thing that the game has done in the past where it's said like there's a drop rate and we're making it sort of thin out after it's reached a certain amount, but it's not necessarily for you. It could be server wide, right?
Okay.
And they've in the past done incorrect weighting or essentially no weighting at all, and so they just sort of go when they go, and then they sort of disappear or get super rare.
Okay.
So I would be more inclined to think that something like that is happening with the cache than your size.
than my size? Well, the only thing I had to go off of was my size. So
sure.
The only way to really test this I would have to basically...
I would say, think about this, Mikey. Future Tech came back. Everyone likes Future Tech. How many people out there are out there farming Future Tech caches right now? Or just, when that started happening, right?
Yeah.
So it's likely that, like, other people were doing it and getting, essentially just stealing drops from you. You were being robbed.
It's fair. Yeah, and that's fair, too.
I think that is the more likely outcome than, like, arbitrarily tying...
Than having the drop rate be based off of some random variable.
Now, I would love to know that is a true thing, that, like, they were just, like, fuck short people.
Well, that's like my my theory of, well, how do I test this? How do we test this?
You have to make a tall character.
I would have to have an extra tall character, and you both have to, like, farm zombies at the same time.
Make a new character and make it max male, because males in Secret World are taller by default anyways. So make a new male character and make the slider all the way up, and then go. But the thing is, I think when you, like, so you have to get to a certain level, like, 15 for caches to even drop for you. And, like, when you first get a cache, it does seem like you get a bunch, just in general. Like, the game sort of knows that you've never gotten any or something.
Right.
It seems like, anyways. So that could just be, like, confirmation bias, honestly.
Right. But even as you said, if it's, like, a time-based thing and other people are stealing them at the same time, then the only thing that would really make sense is that if someone else was there at the same time, very tall, and we both farmed stuff simultaneously. Because if the time...
You have to do it at a time that you assume is dead as well, because otherwise you have no idea what other people are screwing you both.
True.
Right? Potentially.
True, but if they're screwing both participants over at the same time...
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's equal, right? I'm just saying, you need to lower the amount of variables. So you would want to, if you're trying to do your scientific test of this, you'd want to do it at, like, I don't know, 10 p.m. EST or something, like, or even 11. You want, like, the end of East Coast, but before like,
West Coast,
early EU,
okay,
or late West Coast gets on. Like, there is a dead zone kind of between.
Right, and so then I would have to... But even doing it on different days, even that itself is a different...
Yeah, even a different day could matter potentially.
Could matter potentially as well. So I'd have to have... That's why I feel like having someone else there simultaneously, doing it at the same time, that would be of a normal or taller height, that if we both basically try to kill the same amount of zombies, like in New England, say, jumping on a car and killing the same amount of zombies in the same amount of time, that we should... in theory, end up with the same amount, right?
I mean, not necessarily, but
I mean, within a margin, within closer. Within a what is the general margin for randomization? Like 5%? I think it's within 5%. Yeah, that it's like within.
I'm soup,
baby.
Soup with a floating head.
Electric soup. It's very electric
on the mailbox.
Soup. Yeah.
Hold on a sec.
You seem to have, not the easiest time jumping, or at least... Oh, there you go.
Yeah, well, for me, I was on it. But it's one of those desync things, right?
Yeah.
So I was just trying to get to where it looks like I'm on it for both me and Waffle.
Understandable. So I thought, yeah, how would I try to remove as many variables as possible. And I didn't even know about the variable that it's possibly like when during the day and based on how many have dropped server wide already. So it really does make sense to kind of try to do it at the same exact time, because otherwise, if it's a set amount, then whoever I would do first would then be automatically taking drops from whoever I did second, you know?
Yeah.
How do I make this a scientific method? Scientific method to try to figure out how to test. Because it just seems stupid low. And remember, like, when we were... The last show we did around Halloween, I was going around while we were listening to the thing, while we were listening to the radio broadcast, I was going around just killing zombies. Because I was trying to get caches. And I killed a whole bunch of zombies and got, like, 4. And you were just like... Because we were grouped up, you were just like, there are caches everywhere. You got like 30 or something.
Yeah. I was definitely taking yours, for sure.
Yeah, and so it's like, wait a minute. How come I got so few and you got so many? And then I tried, and I was like, that's weird. And then I just tried to farm some. And yeah, I was in there just killing for like an hour, and I got like 5. And I was like, how? How is my drop rate on this so poor? I did not think that the drop rate on caches should be that poor, you know? So I don't know. That's my hypothesis. My hypothesis is that something I'm doing specifically is affecting, or something about my character personally is affecting a drop rate. And obviously the thing that changed has been my height. And I don't know. I don't think it's completely unheard of to say that they tied whatever the drop rate was to some random variable that it would not change per character too much. And, you know, general changes in height, you're not going to get giant differences in height. And just tie that to drop rate. Yes!
For testing purposes.
Let's go!
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I just don't.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like it doesn't make much sense. But really, what does? What does make sense? Are we doing this? Oh, we're doing this.
I know stuff can be jank. I'm just saying, like, I feel like that's super unlikely.
Yes, it is. It's absolutely unlikely. But
it would be. Now, that said, I could somehow see it still being tied to a variable that's impacted by your height.
I'm so tall, I still can't jump over the fence.
Like,
well, it doesn't change your jump height. Yeah,
I know.
No, go the other way. What are you doing? Yeah, that way. There's a jump right there. No, right there. There you go.
There you go. Wait, we're not in the same instance.
Not?
No. Because I've already seen like 2 or 3 other people running around in this dead game.
Yeah, the game is so dead.
Well, are you in the same spot he is? He's over here. I don't know why. Why are you hunting zombies over here?
By the sheriff's office? Yeah, you're not there. I see where you're supposed to be.
You want to go in the front, the first strip from like the first well. You know, the from Boone?
The roadway.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you go to the roadway leading up to...
like packs of 4 zombies like on both sides all the way down.
See, I'm just thinking... Yeah, well, I should be in the same instance as you now. There you are. There's my giant boy. There you go.
I was almost supposed to step on you.
I literally come up to your foot.
Wait,
you are an ankle biter.
Do you have all... No, wait, you have flash freeze. I was going to say, you have like almost all single target abilities.
I would say, so the best way to do this is we find a car that has the alarm on it, right?
Yeah, you could just keep jumping and spawning.
And then I'll keep jumping, right, and then they'll just pull more. So if I do this red car, and you go do this car over here, Oh, you're gonna do the red car. Okay, that works. I'll do this car. And we'll kill a whole bunch, and we'll count how many caches we get.
Just jump. You desperately need an AoE.
So I got the right 12 so far. That's 16 down.
I think if you just swapped your Chaos ability on your right click for Schism, I think you'd kill him in
20.
one click, I think.
Yeah, if I went to Hammer, I would have been a lot, or Sword or something.
24.
No, but I mean, these things are like level 1. They'll die instantly. You just need an AoE, that's all.
Yeah, you just need something just to tap them.
Yeah.
Okay, I got one.
I mean, so far...
So far I got 36. It's 40 zombies. Oh, I got 2. It's 44 zombies.
So far, I have none.
Oh, none. Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't have any caches. That's what I said.
52.
You don't have 52 caches. Stop that.
No, 56 zombies I've killed. 60.
That's what you're counting. It's like, what are you counting?
Yeah. I'm not counting caches.
I thought this, but isn't that what you're going to be doing? Right?
I'm trying to see, like, if I kill, like, 100, like, how many out of 100?
I see what you mean.
So far, nothing. I know I haven't been counting.
Waffle doesn't believe in, much like the daily logins, Waffle does not believe in AoE abilities.
That's what I mean. Like,
Doesn't believe they exist. He is a monogamous fighter, okay?
Yeah. I give each one my personal attention.
It's so kind of you.
I really like monogamous fighter. That definitely...
Okay, there. I've killed 100. I'll say the point is that I am killing them a lot faster than he is.
I don't think we've been keeping track of how many he's killed.
I haven't been keeping track.
That kind of doesn't help the scientific part of this.
No, it does not. But the fact that you haven't gotten one, I do think is probably indicative. Because out of those 100, I did only get 3.
Oh, so you got I thought you only had 1. You got 3, okay.
I got 3. Which is actually a lot more than I was expecting to get.
Well, especially if you think about it in terms of packs, right? Because they come in 4.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, how many packs is that?
25. 25 packs is 100.
Yeah, so out of 25 packs, you got 3 caches.
Yeah. Which, if that was like how I was getting before, that would have been fine.
Yeah.
So maybe it had something to do, closer with the Future Tech cache, maybe being changed out or something. That it was just...
Oh, I got one. It's Dark Agartha.
Oh, that's fine. I don't think it mattered necessarily which cache you get. Just that a cache dropped. Looted for science.
So we got 1.
For science. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna say yes, potentially busted, but that's not actual. Because if you were getting how many are over here from the ones that I was killing? Oh, we're not grouped up. You wouldn't see them.
No.
That's fair. It gets soup behind us.
Death by soup.
Okay, and That makes me feel at least a little bit better. Well, not better.
Validated.
No. Because the other alternative is just my luck was just really shitty. That's the other real explanation, is just terrible luck.
Squish. Squish.
Ah! So now you see how fun it is to be tall. I was tall for a good couple months.
Okay, I did 25 packs. I got 6 cash drops. 1 was a belt, and the other 5 were caches.
Okay.
So, yeah, it just doesn't like you. In fact, I just killed another pack.
It could just be just my luck is just terrible, which, I mean, that would track.
7 drops, 6 of which were caches out of 104 zombies. My ratio is way better than yours at this point.
Yeah. As it even most scientific things, I believe, generally when it comes to even a sense of randomness, that they're like anything above, like with enough instances, like 100 is not a whole metric ton of instances. If we were trying to really get this down, we'd be like, all right, how many can we do out of like 1,000 zombie kills? 10 times, 10 times the amount that we did. But generally, when you start getting more and more instances like that I believe it's generally about 5%. It's like 5 to 10%. That they would account for just straight up randomness. And that if their results come within like 5 to 10% of each other, they can just be like, well, yeah, that is within like pure randomness range. It doesn't prove anything.
Right.
All right, so I did 35 so far, and I got 1.
Okay. I mean, it could also go the other way around. It could also be that because you're tall. No, now I'm just getting silly.
The silliest of billiest.
40.
But at least you're making me feel better, because you're showing me that you're having worse luck than I am.
Oh. All right, so 50. I got another one now.
Okay. Do it our loose experimentation.
That's what she said.
I just like watching you through the forest, because you're giant, so just like boom, 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 just walking through the forest,
causing chaos.
Oh, here's some zombies. Let me give them individual attention. Yeah.
Well, it's because everybody else like you guys, just go through and just take them out in groups. I'm like, I'm gonna sit with each one of you.
No one thinks of the zombies' feelings.
Yeah.
Definition of a serial monogamist.
Won't anyone think of the zombies?
All right, so I'm getting like roughly about 40 zombies. I get a cache. So this has got another one here.
Okay. For 40 zombies is
40 to 50.
The metric that we're going with is ZPC, zombies per cache.
What's your ZPC rating?
What did I say? I got 100 and I got, what did I say, 4? No, 3? 3. Yeah, I've got 3 in my inventory.
5.
So that's 33.3 ZPC.
I just did a bunch. I had my challenges, my bonus ones kicked in.
Okay.
So I had a 100 monster kill thing to do. And in all of that, I think I got 1 cache.
Okay, all right.
Even though I just got a shit ton in my other, the first 100 or so I did. So,
see, that's why I said, generally it's the
and I'm soup. So, just saying,
we're keeping strict variables here. Yes, soup and you don't know how tall soup is, right? Soup is.
I mean, soup is pretty. The soup itself is pretty small.
It's pretty small,
so
right?
I got 30, and I got another one.
You're taller than the soup bowl is.
It's true. I am.
I think your luck is just bad. Roughly, like I said, anywhere from 30 to 50 zombies, I get one.
Okay. So I could try doing another 100. See if I get any more.
Actually, this is 10. I got another one.
And another one.
And another one. So let
me do another 100. Let's see what I get.
My ZPC is good. I'm in the green. Well, it's also, you have to do it one at a time. Instead of big groups.
I can't just do them all at the same time, yeah.
Yeah, there's no shortcuts in life.
There's like a billion shortcuts in life.
I was going to say, life is nothing but
so wrong.
Give one. See, look, I just got another one. One-on-one attention. You get rewarded.
Ridiculous.
Hello, fresh zombie.
Are they related to Patient Zero?
Maybe.
No.
All right, I'm up to 52.
Improv is supposed to be yes and, you guys. That was some horse shit.
Sorry, I was squirting my cat.
You go to all the trouble of setting up
That's what she said.
Patient and Lee, and you're just like, meh.
Sorry, I didn't hear it as well. My cat decided to come over here and start chewing on papers. Okay, but I'm currently at, I think 76 zombies. And no, I'm not giving them individual attention. 80. $84. 88.
30, and I'm getting all your caches.
96. And 100. Okay, so out of that second 100, guess how many I got?
2.
0. I got 0. Not a single one dropped.
Like I said, I'm getting them all.
I was pretty sure that was happening before, because you were farming and I was getting them. Because it's personal loot, so when things die,
I got another one.
It's something they drop, right? So you actually don't want to be farming around other people. That's actually bad.
Well,
Remember how you were in a separate instance when we started?
I should have just stayed in a separate instance.
Yeah. Because
I'm farming, but who's over on the car? Is that you, Mikey?
That's me.
Okay, so I'm going around near you, and I'm still getting caches. Like I have this one that's right here.
Right, what I'm saying is you'll see if he kills something, it's possible that he kills something and it drops a cache that you see and he doesn't, because caches are individual loot. If you're like in the vicinity and it dies, right? Like I can get caches from you. So I'm just saying, like,
But it could also be a distracting variable, is basically what you're saying. An interrupting variable.
Massively so.
I just got another one.
Yeah, and see, I'm banking almost to another 100, and haven't seen another one yet.
Like, this group's just spawned back in, and I just got another one. Oh, too far away to loot.
And another one.
I wonder how much we could get. We could get one of the Funcom employees to really dig into the code and see what variable it's attached to.
We'd like a report, please. We want a 0-point report. We're investigative journalists.
We're just doing a consider this a bug report, maybe.
We requesting paperwork on how your cash drops work.
Yeah, we.
There's a secret science.
Maybe I'll report it. I'll report it as a bug. They'll give it to their QA team, and the QA team will be like, "What the hell is this nonsense? We're not.
Sir, I believe that your cash drops is tied to height, and we find that to be patently offensive for the short community.
That is discriminatory, sir." Against virtual character height.
You cease this discrimination against our short brethren.
That's right.
The minifigs and soups of the world.
And someone would just, you know what will happen is someone will just turn around and they'll be like, well, how do we fix this? And they'll just be like, just put them back to regular height. And I'll be like, no, wait, no. Okay, I got one.
Well, obviously you fixed it by making everyone in the entire server the same height as you.
That's right.
Everyone just comes in the next day, they're like, what the shit?
Yeah. Want to make it even. Everyone's tiny.
Oh yeah, you didn't know that? Bees were canonically bee size now.
That's
so I got one. I killed another 200 zombies, and I got one more.
Dude,
one more.
That would be a really crazy, like, April Fool's thing.
That basically sounds like a great April Fool's thing. Yeah.
Right. Like everyone logs in, and everyone's the size of a large physical bee. Like what?
It has precedence, though. I have seen other games basically do stuff like that on April Fool's Day. I'm specifically thinking of, like, Guild Wars 1, Guild Wars 2. They do some weird stuff on April Fool's Day. One of which was, I think it was Guild Wars 2 that did this, is everyone logged in on April Fool's Day, and the game world was, like, had a sepia filter over it. So everything was, like, brown. And then whenever your character moved around, they spread their arms out like in a T position and then made airplane noises.
Awesome.
So it's just, your character just go around like the entire time you're playing. And it's like, all right, that's pretty brilliant. I do love that one. What's another good one? Oh, Star Trek Online for April Fool's Day. Yeah, you remember that. Yeah, no, I'm not just, I didn't just make that up, obviously, yeah. Another one was Star Trek Online.
Now I believe you.
I'm corroborated by Dan Van Dam. Thank you, Dan. There was another one, and it's my other favorite was Star Trek Online, and I think Star Trek Online does this every April Fool's Day. Is they change all of the laser sounds to just someone going pew 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 pew. I love that one too.
Yeah, Overwatch does the googly eyes on everybody.
Googly eyes is pretty good. Yeah. Say Guild Wars 1, also, I think they changed everyone's head size, and so everyone's like a bobblehead.
They did some like funny voice lines that were complete. What? Off the wall, funny.
They're like, we need you to record these lines for what? April Fool's Day. You can literally go pew pew. Yes.
Yeah, that is pretty good.
That one's pretty good. There's another one in Guild Wars 1. It was one of the first April Fool's Day changes I think I ever saw in a game, and it was a Guild Wars 1, and it was if you brought out a pet, they automatically made the pet like 10 times the size it normally was. So you'd bring out your pet character, and it would just follow you around as this giant. but for everybody simultaneously. So, and then after that, Guild Wars sort of got the kind of kept upping their game to do every April Fool's Day.
Nice.
To actually change something in game. So yeah. So but that's the one I remember the most is right. They turned the game world sepia and then people just went around meow, meow. It's so random. It's beautiful. It's so random, it's beautiful. We're just giving you ideas, Secret World, is what we're saying. No, but you know what would happen is Secret World would do something like that. They were like, April Fool's Day, everyone logs in, and right, their pet's like 10 times the size. And the people would be like, well, they shouldn't be putting resources on that. They should be making whatever.
Yeah, you can definitely tell this game is dead because they're doing these stupid things. Instead of giving us content.
Yeah, they just be like, looking that gift horse in the mouth.
Yeah, they'll go through and say, oh, hey, we're changing everything out to upgrading the graphics of the entire game. The dead game, yeah, they gotta do this. And
I had to switch instances because I saw too many people running around Kingsmith. I'm just saying.
Orthpucky.
And breaking news. Breaking news. We have an account on Blue Sky now.
I could have put that a lot sooner. I kind of forgot. I had it working, I think, before we started the stream even.
0 Point Report. The 0 Point Report.bsky.social. I find that I mean, I've been enjoying Blue Sky quite a bit. But it's also just the describing of trying to describe it. And people are like, oh, it's just like Twitter. And it's sort of like, it has that feel of Twitter, but the back end is anything but Twitter. You know,
it's a lot better.
The fact that, like, you know, someone was like, oh, I wonder what the code is for Blue Sky. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's open source. Literally anyone can go get it. It's totally open source code. If you wanted to go ahead and use that code to create your own Blue Sky server, you can. You can do that. You can go create your own instance. It's part of the. It's not on the same instance as Mastodon is. It's not on the same protocol
it's
base.
It's the AT protocol.
Yes, it's called the AT protocol. Whereas Mastodon is based off of like ActivityPub. I think is what I read. So it's not the same, which is why there has to be like a bridge between them in order to cross post or something. But yeah, it's entirely based off of like its structural point. And just a little bit of research I did into that, and just looking into that on just my basic knowledge, because I don't know how to build a social network. It's just interesting. It's just and how it's different, and how you get to basically curate your own algorithm. And if you don't like the algorithm that's part of the Discovery tab or any of the other feeds, if you're like, I don't like all these algorithms, I'm going to make my own, you can. You can make your own. And I feel like that's why most people have come over to it, is that it's after going for years with Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and basically going through all of those and having where you're basically at the control of the algorithm, And then everyone's trying to game the algorithm and, use whatever tricks to get around that and to, through followers or through using bots or through what have you, try to game those algorithms, try to, whatever the efficiency of it, like optimization, like algorithmic optimization.
SEO, kind of, basically?
Kind of SEO,
yeah. Well, it kind of directs you to
SEO
what it thinks you want to see.
Yeah.
And using that to sort of like, game the system or do whatever, that after basically decades of that, because that's all we've basically known from social media up until this point, and now we're starting to see these networks that are like, no, you control the algorithm. You control it. You basically end up with the experience that you want to have. So it's fun. It's fun. It's an interesting proposition.
I think there's also just a thing of there's just less jackasses on it so far. Like, I'm sure at some point that will change.
Well,
there are jackasses. There are absolutely jackasses.
The thing is that
I'm saying less. There's less. Yes. Not that there can't be jackasses on. That's not the point. It's just the mass. The mass is still somewhere else, and so I think it's gotten enough mass where it's like now there is a thing where it's too small, and then it's not really an actual like equivalency, right? You're like
right.
You're not. It's not really competing. I feel like it's getting to like where it's like competing, but it's not. It doesn't have such a large share that like it's managed to pull every fucking asshole from the other platform. You know what I mean?
No.
So you're in a kind of a nice sweet spot at the moment, at least, where like it's got enough of a base to be relevant, like actually useful to be on, but not so many that it's like the center of where like every asshole is going to be, because that's where they can be an asshole to the most people.
Right.
So like it's in a decent spot at the moment, I think.
But I've also read something, or I think someone made this observation that, like, the way that people were basically trolling the most, so they'd go into somebody's popular post, and they would post their own replies to it, and which would garnish a whole bunch, and then their inflammatory posts, and then those posts would end up near the top of someone's popular post. Yeah. So then a whole bunch of people would see it, and then they'd react to it, which only made it stronger, Yeah. And that's just not how Blue Sky works. So
right.
Yeah, like it takes that whole concept of backing off of someone else's much bigger post. And sure, you could actually do that. If you go onto someone else's bigger post and you reply, yeah, you're probably going to get, a whole bunch of likes or something that you wouldn't otherwise. But your reply doesn't end up at the top. It's not like this is the most whatever. It ends up in the order in which it was posted.
So what you're saying is I just need to start posting first a lot.
Yes.
That's what you're really telling me.
That if you're the first...
Well, like the man says, if you're not first, you're last.
Yeah. But a lot of stuff is just done chronologically. It's just done...
As was it the Ballad of Ricky Bobby or something? Is that what that one's called? It's a Will Ferrell movie.
Yes. Yeah.
He's a NASCAR driver. And then his dad later on is like, "What do you mean? That doesn't mean you could be second, third, fourth."
It's like if you're not first, you're last.
And that's how he lived his life. And then later on, he meets his dad. His dad doesn't remember saying that at all. It's just like, that's
what are you talking about?
I was high as shit. I was high as shit when I said that. There's all kinds of places you can be.
Yeah. So, but Blue Sky is doing good right now, and I'm sort of on the fence about whether I would create an account just for the 0 Point Report.
And I said, fuck it. And I just did it.
You said fuck it and did it.
It's like not that big of a deal. It took me all of like 5 minutes, and that was including like getting Waffle to goddamn approve the sign in.
Yeah, that's right.
And putting like the logo and shit.
Mastodon, one person keeps following you on there. Pick a branch of the site and stick to it. I think I need to change. I think I want to change my because I'm also on Mastodon too, but I don't use it as much since I've started using Blue Sky. But it's all right. It's okay. I have nothing against Mastodon.
Isn't the issue with Mastodon that like if you're just because you're on Mastodon doesn't mean we're on the same thing?
No,
right?
It is completely separate servers. Yeah.
Yeah. So that I think is the real. That's
sort of
why I don't think that works. Like, okay, sorry. It not say it doesn't work. It works. I don't think it works as like a competitor to something like Twitter because the whole point of that is like it's a central space.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas the point of Mastodon would be like I want my local neighborhood watch to have a place to swap back and forth. You just have your own Mastodon server or something. Like it doesn't work as like a central hub if it's not a central hub, I guess is what I'm saying.
It's sort of like if
fails
Discord
to meet the requirements.
So it's sort of like Discord in a sense.
It's exactly like Discord. Right?
Like so a million different Discord servers.
Like Discord or you know,
except you were tied to one specific Discord server. Yeah.
Right, that's even worse though. Like imagine you had to pick one, and that's out of like the 100 Discord servers I'm on, I got to be like, nope, I can only be on one of them. So I can't talk to you anymore.
That's sort of it's sort of worse actually.
I got to be on this one. Like that, but to me, I'm not saying it doesn't have a mess, but it is not a competitor.
Not in the same
trying to achieve the same thing. It is an alternative for people that want a specific like what is it called? What is the term people like to use? It's not marketplace. Town
square.
Town square, like the people. I forget. The term gets used a lot, like the media, like you know when it's out in that center.
Okay. Yeah.
But the point is, it's not that. It's a private version of that.
Right. It's just like someone's house. It's not the town square.
You're all meeting at Bob's house. Yeah. But like that's not. You can't have the same conversation. You're not. You know. That would be like instead of watching the news, I'm watching specifically the news on trains in Pennsylvania. News about the news channel that's only about trains in Pennsylvania. Right over here. That's all I'm watching.
Yeah. And so it's like I'm part of one, and it's not a server.
Yeah.
But like...
But you wouldn't expect... Like, you wouldn't go on it expecting, like, I'm going to know about the news of the day.
No.
Or I'm going to hear about...
not at all. It is extremely topical. It's like, I only have one topic that I really want to talk about. And there are other people on the same server that just want to talk about this topic, and that's it. Yeah, like that's all you get. But even for that, like it's not terrible. You just only meet people that are just part of that same server usually.
I'm sure it's great for that.
And you and I think you can still follow people from outside the server.
Yeah, you can.
You
can still follow other people, but it's more direct. It's more a direct follow.
Yeah, that's like on Discord, like being someone's friend. Like, but again, if Discord you could only be on one server and everyone outside be friends, it wouldn't function. Like if there was a competitor to Discord that was like, we're gonna work this way, like it would not sway the masses because the masses, the whole point is the mass.
Yeah.
Right. So But Blue Sky does the mass thing just differently, so it is a competitor. Whereas Mastodon is
so it ends up being
a competitor, but like an alternative for people that don't want what those platforms do. They want something different.
It's basically the idea of just competition. It's the more competition. And in this case, competition really does, really did bring about some like differences. Like, we're going to make something the same but different,
Yeah.
It's going to be focused on control, and it's going to be focused on, protection, and it's going to be focused on trust and safety, and it's going to be focused on these other things. So we're going to make a place where people don't interact in the exact same way. Midnight.
1 a.m. actually. But yeah, I'm sure it's midnight in the game.
Midnight in game, yeah. That's what I meant. Midnight in game at almost exactly 1 a.m. Speaking of which, it's 1 a.m.
Yeah,
we should get out of here. Well, agents, this has been the 0 Point Report, strain 97-SNA. You can catch us recording live, generally the first and third Thursday nights of the month, when we can, around 9 p.m. Eastern Time, here on the 0 Point Report Twitch channel, where you can also join us and chat with us while we do the show live, or download our show wherever podcasts are found, so you can listen to us on the go. Just to go over what we did, we talked to Brandon from Star Anvil Studios. Again, thank you, Brandon, for coming on. Much appreciated. I know I will be backing North America, because that sounds fascinating. I will absolutely be doing that. And then we played around with Jimmy's bingo.
And tested
it out, yeah.
Hypotheses.
Secret science.
And then also tested our my junk theories. Jimmy, where can we find you online?
JimmyTheRabbit.com.
2 Ton Waffle, where can we find you?
2tonwaffle.com. And Blue Sky, Threads, and Mastodon.
And I'm Ocho, and you can find me on Twitch, Blue Sky, Mastodon. That's generally where I hang out. All my nonsense basically goes to Blue Sky. All links also at Linktree/Big Mikey Ocho. You can get in touch with us by engaging with the show on X or Blue Sky now, checking out previous shows on our YouTube channel, and joining us on our Discord server, both named the 0 Point Report. So from all of us here at the 0 Point Report, we want to thank you for tuning in and wish you all the best from the secret world. Have a great night, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. I'm slapping my microphone.